take. So, sorry, let me throw in that ticker so you guys can follow along. FRMM is the ticker there. Percentage up on the day is about 40%. Very small market cap, 67 million, with about, I want to say, share float here. Give me a sec to find out. The float on this monster is 11.1 million shares, so quite small. And be careful with this one, though, because the volume just started coming in. I like that, though. I don't mind that too much. The volume really taking off here at around 130. You had initial volume at the open, but that was it. I'd say we've done more volume now than we've done at the open. So FRMM, the ticker there, and IMSR. I think those are the best two to be looking at into the afternoon. All right, they're locked. The boys are locked and loaded. They're going to take you into the afternoon show. Joey covering in. If you're just joining us, he's covering for Sean, who was gone until mid next week. Neil's still here, though. Send you over to the big boys that are that away.
Thank you very much there, Sharif. Thank you to Joe, who, hey, man, it ain't like Joe's going anywhere. You guys are going to see him for the rest of the time. So let's round out, hopefully, it's been a great week for the market, and let's hope it continues. We're up over a point. We managed to sort of withstand a bit of a spike in oil in the midday, and the market seems to be getting back on track. I'm just noticing two things that are standing out. One of them is that AMC wants to, and another one is that ARM looks like it's going. So that's going to be a little bit on the radar. Lots to watch. No questions asked, everybody. And you know what? Like the thing is, like you're sort of seeing this weird. I don't want to say weird price action, but like price action where we can be doing nothing, and then all of a sudden you get like crazy slams to the upside like this, or you know when we were looking in the middle of the day and you had the spike in oil down, and all of a sudden like I was in NVDA and you get a one slam and it comes right back up, or you get USO going left, right, center, and showing so much volatility. You're from one spike to the next, and the thing about it, when you get increased volatility, there's a lot of traders out there who their response to bigger and faster movement in the market is that they also want to trade bigger at the same time. And that sometimes is exactly backwards thinking, because position sizing is incredibly important, especially when we have increased volatility. So how exactly are you supposed to decide how much to risk and when to do it, Joe?
Yes, that's key, Neil. How much are we actually going to risk per trade when we're sitting within volatile markets? Now, with that being said, we know that the average true range and the span in which a stock can trade from an intraday standpoint starts to grow, so we have to be able to gauge our risk accordingly. With that being said, there's multiple things that we need to take into factor. The placement, and what's been going on in the pre-market as well. So before the open, guys, we get the news catalyst that, hey, the Strait of Hormuz is open. And with that being said, the market decides to go on a massive rally. Just before the open, you can see that we come right back in. And with that being said, our average true range and the span in which the volatility is starting to uptick is drastically. So when we get in, we have to be very cautious of our placement, of our entry, and most definitely our exits. So what I want us to focus on here is I'm entering a long trade in Tesla where the market is volatile. I need to know where I'm going to get out precisely. Now, if we crack the low of the support level that we've established at 1335 on TSLA, I have to get out of dodge. Why? Because the market can continue lower because the volatility is starting to uptick. Now, as for our second entry, it's the exact same narrative. What do we have going on? How am I going to gauge my risk from an intraday standpoint? At the low of the day, the market is climbing higher, but Tesla is not participating. So when you're putting on sides, you have to be prepared to get out when you're supposed to, just in case there's continuation in the direction that is going opposite of the market. So we want to look for relative strength there as well. So the key to this is placement. That's going to help increase your risk to reward ratio, and then sticking to your stop losses in volatile markets. That is going to help you gauge on how much risk you should be putting on in that specific trade.
Exactly, and when you have those 2 points down, where you want to get in because of expanded range and where you want to get out, it suddenly can just turn into like that quick mathematics where you determine how much you want to lose in the trade, you've got your entry and your exit, and then you can just simply do that math. You want to make sure that you have that structure in any kind of any trade or the amount that you want to risk so that you're not going based upon emotion. And you know when markets are moving, you're going to get more emotional. Having that system down in place is what is going to save you from losing more than you should. And the thing about it is sometimes it'll work when you know you did something bad. The market's willing to reward you for that. So make sure you stick to your system, and then you can still get the winners without risking more than you're comfortable with.
Exactly, Neil. Very valid point. And that's going to lead to our next point here. The market was continuing to climb higher and Tesla was lagging. Now we have that positive catalyst. There's multiple factors that say, hey, we took our stab, we go 50% win rate on our first 2 chances, but now with the market continuing to climb and screaming higher, is this our opportunity to exponentially bet size? I think so. Why? Because we have a break of the volume-weighted average price, but yet we're holding that. The market is near the high of the day. We're not quite there yet in Tesla, but we're holding key levels. And that's going to help us gauge, okay, if we're talking about volatility, maybe we're going to get that move in the right direction and move higher. So essentially what we have is a VWAP hold. This allows us to exponentially bet size. We increase our shares because one of the names is lagging what the overall market is doing, and that gives us a good risk to reward ratio. Where are we wrong? At the break of key support levels. If it breaks that level, then we get out of the trade. But if not, we have the right amount of size on that puts us in the right position to ride a trend all the way to the top in a volatile market. That is how you gauge risk in volatility and a headline-sensitive market. And at key levels is when you can exponentially bet size and put on these monster trades.
Exactly, and remember, when the volatility is higher, when the opportunity is bigger, your position sizing and risk control isn't defensive. It's the entire basis of the trade because you know the move is going to be there. And you've got to make sure that you're able to hold on. I hope that helped. I think it's important, especially when we have the markets that we're in right now. We're going left, right, center, and you want to make sure that you have solid entry points, solid exit, and understand where you are, where you're going to get out, and then once you know what you want to risk, you should be okay, but you've got to make those determinations before you make each and every trade. Just going back to the market here, I will caution everybody. Danger, Will Robinson. Yeah, you have an USO bounce again. So with a little bit of a bounce off of VWAP here in USO, starting to look, I was looking for longs as we were breaking down. That was my first thought. Okay, like where am I going to find a long trade as we're bouncing? And I was sort of thinking IBIT. But if we don't fade back in with a lower high, then I'm not likely to want this bounce off VWAP here on IBIT. That's the first place I'm looking. Actually, that's not true. It's not the first place I'm looking, and I'm saying this with a genuine chuckle because the first place that I was looking is something that might be able to run without the market doing much of anything. Because we're slightly pulling back. It's Friday afternoon. We're just chilling at VWAP, and lo and behold, look at what's actually the highest at the high of the day and trending higher. It's AMC, and believe it or not, it has a level like a $1.84 where it's kind of triple bottom and is bouncing from there. So if this, yeah, I'm going to look for the dip buy in AMC. Bet you never thought you'd hear me say that, huh? I can't even keep it. No, but what are you going to do? Who knew, right? Ball doesn't lie. I'm looking for other things. Oh, you know what? Actually, no. This is I got to say something else too. This one's on me. Maybe the biggest fail today. I always say. Actually, I think I said this yesterday as well. Like sometimes it doesn't really make a difference how things are going, right? Like yesterday was like my best day of the week, and today will be like the second best day of the week, and like trading's been good. But you know what? There was the drone IPO. I didn't take the drone IPO at the open. And you can obviously see how this one worked out. So suffice to say, one of the things that we talked about when determining in any strategy what you like and what you don't like, and one of them specifically with this was, we care about, I'm just talking about trading here on our floor, everyone do what they want to do. We want it to be in the right sector with the right amount of hype. This was in the right sector. This one had pretty much what you wanted going for it. And then it opens up and does like the perfect, to just take the opening print trade and let it fly. It couldn't have been any more perfect. It wasn't even, whatever. I was literally doing the lesson of the day, not even remembering that it was open. And then after that, I got up and was doing something else and didn't realize it was open when it came back down. That's one of those. There's a reason why I try not to evaluate my performance in my day based on my P&L, because this should have been my biggest trade this month. And I didn't have it, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter to me that it's a good day today. I feel like I missed that one. It is what it is. There's nothing perfect about anybody. Everybody, you're gonna make some mistakes. I tend to want to be a little bit self-critical when I don't get things right. I'm still looking for things that I might want to short if USO continues higher. So my brain went to Netflix is under VWAP after that guidance miss. I don't know if that's gonna be the one. The thing that I took, I'm thinking maybe NVDA, because this was the under VWAP short I had when we had the negative headline, so I could go back to this. But that was a play sort of in breaking down into 200. It's a lot of consolidation there. I feel like I'd be trying to short on this consolidation. That doesn't seem like it's 10 out of 10. BM&R is relatively strong. I'm just sort of going over, relatively weak, I should say. So I'm just sort of going over some different ideas and trying to figure out what I like for this afternoon. Things have to always be really good on a Friday afternoon to me. For a setup. This is a downward trend. Oh, you got salmon. That's right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. This is on a downward trend with a bit of a flat bottom break in here that makes sense. So if USO continues, I might like this. At least this way I'd be going with something already weak instead of trying to, you're diddling in the middle with NVIDIA and I'm just sort of gambling at the direction. Not gambling, just picking the direction. Now I'll maybe go with BM&R here because I can take a breakdown. And then if it breaks the trend here, I have myself an easy out. And the way I sort of look at it is look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin relatively strong. ETH is a little bit stronger as well. So I know I'm going to be in something that's relatively weak if I get it, and that way I'm not fighting it. Green Saber asking, what is with all the inverted hammers in AMC? There are. All the inverted hammers in AMC.
That is crazy.
Are there that many? On what time frame? On the 3? These aren't. It's not. I don't know if it's that crazy. I wouldn't say that. Maybe we're looking at a different. Maybe you're looking at a different time frame, but I don't think anything too. I don't really see anything too crazy here on AMC. The one thing to keep in mind when you have a cheap stock like this, oftentimes what'll happen, even on a bar like this, it's not even really printing 192 likely. What's happening is it's sitting there at 91 by 92 because the penny spread, and there's just dark pool prints going off at 92 or very small prints on the few gateways. So it's not really trading up there much. Most of the action is happening on the bid at 91, and so it makes it look like you have that kind of a candle. It exaggerates these types of candles because oftentimes when you have that cheap stock, that 1 or 2 cent wick isn't really doing much of anything up there. It's one thing to be said about a topping tail candle where real lit liquidity goes off on the topping tail and then the rest underneath. And there's other ones where it might literally be 25 shares on the dark pool. And it didn't even really have that wick. So it's hard to, sometimes it can be a little bit hard to tell. Anyways, if this does pull back in, I am looking for a bit of a dip buy. There, you got to tell me how that salmon is. That looks good. That looks good. Oh my goodness, that looks good. It looks better than the tilapia was solid, but that looks pretty damn good.
I'll tell you one thing, Neil. It wasn't as good as the salmon that we made last night, though.
Oh, you made salmon last night?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
That maple barbecue stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, big time. We love salmon.
That's what it's at.
No, aside from that, guys, I mean, the market is trading below the volume-weighted average price. We're going to be talking about this quite often. I mean, what has Tesla done? I'm glad that we didn't have that reload. It just wasn't ready yet. Are we going to get that 2 o'clock bounce that we're looking for? The longer that we hang below the indicator, the less likely that it's actually going to happen, in my opinion. So we want to see this bounce back relatively quick. Now, as for what we have going on from a charting standpoint, it's the same thing. Now, we went on this run this morning, and then now we're starting to cool things off. Failed new high right here, so you're establishing that lower high, and then now you have a flat bottom. There was a supply zone and something that was acting as prior resistance before, now acting as support. So if this breaks, where's that next potential leg lower? I think you would head over into that next that neck of the woods around 708 on the SPY, and then if that breaches, I mean, you got to take time into factor as well as that we only have a couple of hours left, but things can definitely pick up. You have the couple of catalysts step in this morning or this afternoon, sorry, and just engulf essentially what was over multiple hours of trading. So be cautious and be prepared for some more headlines to step in and the market potentially to either go higher and or lower. That's one thing that we were just talking about. With volatility, you have to gauge things. And I understand for some people it's like, all right, enough is enough, but we have to play the price action and look at the market for what it is, especially when the headlines continuously drop and then you have to back and forth between the leaders of the country saying no, this, that, and that. It makes things a little bit more difficult, but gauging risk is extremely important. I think we can potentially see a snapback, but what I'm seeing from the price action right now, I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. But if we do hold on to specific levels, I think that's going to lead for a potential rally or somewhat of a couple of inside days next week, and then a strong ending to the week once again.
That's what, yeah, I agree. Well, you know what? USO is the seesaw. I saw someone say elevator day. I like that. Elevator day, save man, woman in the chat just mentioned. But you come right, the elevator to the 116th floor on USO. It's not the first time it's come here and turned around. It did it at 9 o'clock. It did it at 9:48. It's done it a couple times this afternoon. So if it punches through this, I know I'm going BMNR short. Like I know what the short's going to be. If we make the reversion, sort of looking for what the opportunity is on the long side that isn't trying to get the AMC. See, this is the point that I was making before about how like you can like on AMC like you can have a wick down. Like there's a wick to 186. I don't really think anybody got filled at 186. I'm on the bid at 186. Like I'm looking to go long here with the stop under there. But it got down there. There was like a little bit of a wick. It came a few pennies down, and it didn't really fill anybody. So then you get this crazy candle where all the fills were probably at 87 and 88, and then a couple of dark pools were able to get filled at 86. It's kind of crazy with that, but that's just how it goes. Looking to see what can hold on to some strength. I know AMD was pretty strong for most of the day. Well, most of the day yesterday, and eventually in the afternoon it got a little bit stronger. This one could work. Maybe off the volume-weighted average price. So yeah, I'm still really looking for the play I want to the long side if we curl around. I know where I would like to go short on relative weakness. Let's go to the desk. We've got Sia in the house.
Yeah, just a really quick update here. I'm seeing a couple news sources saying that Hormuz remains effectively closed despite
I never even had
pledge.
it. No, I'm good.
And this is from Kepler, which is a site that tracks ships. Coming from the Wall Street Journal, just again, that Hormuz remains effectively closed despite Iran's pledge, coming from the Wall Street Journal. Sending it back to you.
Thank you very much there, Sia. As Joe just tried to undercover say how many samosas he had.
I'm not going to hide it.
How many samosas did you eat this morning?
Sia, what's the guess?
How many samosas?
Yeah.
They were like mini ones. They're like this. They weren't like a full size.
Oh, I didn't even see there were samosas because I came after my exams. So.
It was the breakfast. It wasn't with the lunch. It was with the breakfast.
Oh.
Over 9,000.
Over under 3.5.
That's how many you ate?
No, I'm asking you over under. So like, am I under 3.5 or am I over 3.5?
Over.
Wait.
That's light work.
Dang, that's cash money.
It's
right
not even a good. Obviously, if you're telling us, you must have had 8.
It was close. It was close, but not quite 8.
How many did you eat?
I lost count, to be honest.
Okay, first of all, if you lost count, then how do you know it was not 8? How do you know my guess wasn't
Could
right?
be close. It was
Exactly.
relatively close to 8, probably. I was standing waiting at the microwave.
That's because he knows, he had 8. See,
know,
this is exactly, you had 8 then. Because that's why you're trying to act like you didn't know.
Probably like 6.
I can't blame him. Those samosas are amazing.
Those ones are pretty good too.
They were pretty good, Sia.
See, I missed it out, man.
You know what you do, Sia? So this is word of advice. So when you go back to the lunchroom next time,
take the rest.
Just tell Raquel they were amazing. And then she'll tell the caterers, and they'll probably more likely to bring it again.
Kind of, they're a little oily though.
Joe
I prefer
has connections with the caterers directly. He could just tell them.
Well, anybody can email them. I just like
caterer.
I like talking to people. Like I can email the caterer directly, or I can literally talk to. Yeah, I like just talking to you. Anyways, oh, they were really good. And I'm still smelling that food that you got going on there. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, how was the topic? I mean, guys, like look at the market. It's not going to do too much. I mean, it's Friday. We had that big move here earlier in the day. That's just leading to what we've had on the week. It's been a massive one at that. Just consecutive up days, and we go back to the earlier stages of it. I don't know why I pulled up the 4-hour. I'll pull up the 1 hour and see what we got going on. It's just from the beginning of it, it was just like, okay, cool, this has been fun. Let's just put on a complete buy program. So from the start of the week, Neil, you can see we're up substantially here, but you get 4.25 in the overall market. So it's been a good one. I think we continue on this path. Using the higher time frames can tell us a lot. You have that V-shaped reversal, and just whatever was going on throughout these multiple sessions has just been gone in a fraction of the time that it took to sell off. I've personally never seen this. I thought we would see a little bit more bearish territory, to be honest with you, Neil, considering we had the Mag 7, the majority of them down 20+%, with the exception of Apple being down 14%. But this slingshot V-shaped reversal in the overall market has just been absolutely insane and one to watch.
That's, to be honest, this is what the markets do.
Yeah.
Realistically. And I hate to be that guy, but you know what happens when you print a lot of money? That money chases assets.
Okay, I was going to, yeah.
And one of the first places it finds itself into is the markets.
Yeah.
And whatever people deem as the best bet in the markets. And sometimes it's just the markets themselves. And it's often the US markets. And one thing that has not stopped happening is the money printing press. And as long as that continues, then, well, you either get on the train. And I'm not saying it, I'm not no tinfoil hat. Like, you could end, if it ends disastrous, we got other problems anyways, right? So, like, what difference does it make? You might as well be on that train in the long term. Mm-hmm. Because if it falls apart, well, we're screwed anyway. So you might as well be on that train. But when you talk about the V-shaped recovery, the one that gets me, and someone just asked me, well, can you please talk about SanDisk? When we left you this morning, all I remember saying was the thing that was, what was not participating was the memory names. It was 11 o'clock. I had just gotten out of the long on Micron at VWAP, and then it was already back to the lows. And then SanDisk was breaking the lows. Well, okay, well, that happened. Complete reversal. Now it's trend up into VWAP. What I'd be careful about, opening like lower range resistance. It's finding resistance here. The market's kind of curling because USO is going up. So I'm not saying it's going to continue. But it did this without its brethren. And once again, I have gone to Blue Ocean instead of the NASDAQ first. Micron's not really doing as much. It's still showing relative weakness. So the squeeze is still looking like it wants to be on for SanDisk. Even AMC stopped moving. Come on, man. It's not fair. So you are really seeing, like, even when something looks like one of the worst tech stocks on the day, you're still able to find that kernel of strength in SanDisk. Like, the dip buyers are there. That being said, when you look at it on the other time frames, well, you can sort of see why it might have been a little bit weaker. Like, as we've seen this big bounce in the market, what you have is with massive update, instant give back, and then boom, rejection, reject 940, reject 940. Like, this is a fail the high, and right now we're consolidating just a little bit off the high. It's still in an overall uptrend, but when this thing is so top heavy, I don't know, this one gives me the concerned feels, for lack of a better word. Seriously, AMC, where you were doing things, now you're not doing things.
Yeah.
There's got to be something that moves. AGAE, maybe? AGAE. What is this? Sharif was trading this one, the penny stock, yesterday or 2 days ago. Oh, that's right. Good point. Because for those that are talking about SanDisk into the NASDAQ 100, so when they say it's being added on Monday, anytime you have an addition, usually what will happen is you'll have that big follow trade, and if it's being added Monday, it's effective. There's no such thing as added Monday. It's effective to close Friday, and then it's in it on Monday. So from a trading perspective, it's a Friday close trade if it's being added on a Monday. If it's being added, it's like the night before kind of deal. And so you're expecting a potential buy imbalance. That being said, why am I on this stock again? That being said, just because there's an expected buy imbalance doesn't mean it's going to automatically catch a bid. I remember when Tesla went into the S&P 500, and everyone and their mother's like, we're buying this thing going into the close. And let me tell you, I was there that day, and everybody on the floor was buying the dip. And I'll never forget, like the imbalances were about to come out. Like we had a dude that was, it was like the biggest trade that year. But there was one guy on the floor who was not only was he in closed orders, because like Tesla was like, everyone's buying, it just keeps on going down. They're like, it's supposed to be a gigantic buy balance. It's going down, it's going down, it's going down. It's like,
So he's
and everyone's buying it.
Yeah.
And because it's like, well, balance is gonna come out 345 at the time, it wasn't 350. And it's like, oh, it's gonna be good, it's gonna be good. And he was like, so close to getting flattened, he was so far past his shutdown.
Oh, really?
He just didn't time it right, and we're like, okay, please let him stay, because you're rooting for everybody. He stayed alive by, I forget how close the countdown clock was. Imbalances hit, and it just flew. It was unreal. It's like whatever you were buying on you just got rewarded for your nonsensicalness or your stupidity or whatever it was. But if you just waited for the mouse, you just could have just punched in, and it was just free money. But I'm not saying SanDisk will be like that. It's not that big of an addition, but it's not so simple as supposed to be buy and bounce will run. It is doing it now. I'll care more closer to the end of the day. Like if it gets to 330, maybe we'll find something there for sure. So I saw someone just say Sidhu bouncing. Maybe that's worth a watch. AMC in the last 3 minutes hasn't even moved off the same cent. Sidhu's not a lot of volume. I'm actually, BMR is going the wrong way because USO is coming back down. All right, USO broke VWAP, so it looks like I'm going for
One thing to add about your imbalances today being OpEx, you're going to see the increase. You might see an increase as well too, right? Yeah, exactly. So it's a Friday, and I like that, to be honest with you. So
makes it a little better.
Yeah, it makes it fun, and you're going to see typically in the bigger names like the Apples and the NVDAs, you might see that massive spike in either direction. So keep an eye out on that, and keep an eye on the notional value of some of these as well, because you're not generating shares, right? It's shares existing in the market already that the options are essentially derived from. So watch out for that. You have the opening, you'll have the closing of specific contracts. Individuals who don't want to get assigned just rushing to close positions. And with that being said, you can see an increase in the balances. So yeah, keep an eye out on that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, it's been a good one here today. We're getting the pullback that we've seen in Tesla and that we were looking for. Right, so now we're slowly starting to curl over. Supply zone over at 402. Now, if we head a little bit lower, 399, considering we give back at least 40%, this is the pullback I was talking about earlier. It's like, hey, 40% of the move in which we gained this morning, and then now we're just hovering right below the volume weighted average price. So if I'm going to reload, why not reload around this 399 mark or somewhere north of this supply zone? I think that risk to reward is still there. We still have a little bit of our position, nothing substantial, but we've been sitting in this all day. So why not add a little bit just in case there's some form of a continuation? And speaking of imbalances, what if we get somewhat of a pop here leading into the early imbalances? You can take some profit, but it could also go the opposite way as well. I'm just trying to remain optimistic for a trade that has worked really well for us today.
Good look, and shout out to Arun Warrior, because I always like this advice. Where is it? I'll find a message. I know there's a way I can put it up on the screen. It's just easier because I lost it. It wasn't Arun Warrior. It was actually Darius here. Neil Friend, here's a tip. Hourly BTC, 15-minute 2, daily always. That's how Polymarket trades it. Oddly enough, I don't use the 60. I'll go to the hourly every now and then, but I do love the 15-minute on this. And oftentimes, it's a little bit cheating sometimes to front run a hold on the 15-minute time frame. But when I'm looking for, like what I was looking for here was the breakdown in USO. So I got cheeky, right? Like USO was breaking down. We're like 2 minutes from this candle close. I'm like, we'll probably close holding that low. So I'll kind of front run the long giving it to that low, and I'll go back to the 3 minutes. It's just easier to show you guys trades on 3 minutes. So I'll front run it through VWAP here, looking for the follow through on USO. Now the problem is, look what USO did. Dun, 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 and then we just shot back up. So again, got a little bit cute, but I have my stop under that prior bar, so it should be, again, it's a relatively tight stop. I think this afternoon, I'm not really going to give anything any crazy wide stops. Not really expecting that kind of volatility. But if we break out to the upside, this is going to be weird because the initial idea was for myself to play the trend on BMNR and play this breakdown here. So one could come out and the other could go in on BMNR. But we'll see. It has to set up. 116 on USO probably has to break. If that happens, I think we could break VWAP on the Fuge. I think we could break VWAP, or add VWAP on IBIT. I think the flat bottom probably breaks here on BMNR. So yeah, it's just a matter of being patient. And we say this all the time in the afternoon. It's not the best time where you want to be. Like in the morning, the level of aggression that you can have is a bit better because you have all day for it to run, so the potential is bigger. Like that's the first thing. The second thing is because of that increased volatility, you get more shots at something. I mean, you can get in, get out. Like the example I would use would be Intel. Like I can like the long, and then I can not like the long, then I can like it again. I just find like doing that in the morning, like you're more likely to get a couple of shots to, into the high of the day, then it comes back, and you get out, and you come in, and you get the high of the day again. Like I'm never really expecting that many shots in the afternoon, so you try to pick your spots a little bit better, maybe with some tighter stops. That's the way I like to look at it for sure. So you guys let me know. I might just cancel my aim.
You like tighter stops?
In the afternoon?
In the afternoon, absolutely, yeah.
In the afternoon, because I'm not expecting the same kind of volatility. So I keep things a little bit tighter to the vest. In the morning, it's a different story. AMC might be
especially with headlines that have been dropping too, right? Like, so it's like you want to widen that a little bit, and then you always have the opportunity to add. All right, we got a $5 super chat, $5 Canadian from Patrick Schlettingen. Sorry if I butchered that. Why are your tickers not working? For example, QQQ is close to 10 behind. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah, it is. Thanks for letting. Honestly, I didn't even notice. Thanks for letting us know.
I didn't even know.
No, I didn't. The crazy thing is, I'll be real. Like I'm looking at my futures on my chart. I have a program monitor and it's right by my head, so I'm probably staring at it all day long, and I didn't even.
What is the Qs actually trading?
No, we're at 648, man. That's not even. That's not close.
Yeah. What's up with that?
NVDA's off. You know what? Those could be like some prices from like yesterday. That's yesterday, man.
Yeah, you hearing that, Fabian?
I think that's yesterday.
Yeah, so we got to get that
the other side, like if you look at, like AMC's right, Micron looks like it's right.
I know.
Netflix is right, I think. But I think it's all the stuff, like it's probably just the stuff on this side that's wrong. Okay, so so what we have is like some of them are using the close from yesterday. But thank you for pointing it out. Yeah, Patrick, we appreciate you. Here's the thing, like if you don't say something, you can't assume that it'll get fixed. I tell this to, oh my goodness, like real trading, like office managers. And they'll be like, oh, there's like this small glitch in the new we have a new rollout of a platform. There's this small issue with it. And they're like, oh, somebody else will report it because it's low-hanging fruit and it's not that big of a deal. I'm like, no. Don't wait for somebody. You say something. You saw it. You say something. So thank you.
You know what they say, right? If you need.
I can't believe I didn't even notice that.
Say, Joe, why?
Something, say something.
Oh, see something, say something? That has a different connotation to it.
You see something, say something.
Yeah, TTC has that here.
Yeah. If you see something, and then they have that hotline that you can text into.
That also has like another context to it historically.
Right? I was going to lead towards something else, but anyways. Yeah, TTC, man. What's up, Joe? Joe, why? Yeah, I know. That's what I was asking. But no, Assassino was just telling me something. If you see something, say something. Some sketchy stuff can happen on the TTC. That's for sure. So you got to be careful about around that neck of the woods. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. What's that movie? Give me the movie one more time, Fabian. Yeah, exactly. YV. Yeah, you already know.
I had a positive experience with people being good on the TTC.
Of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it goes both ways. I think most people are linked that. It's just the one-off events, right?
Most people are good people.
Yeah, exactly. Most people are Canadian.
That's just life, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, thanks, man. Someone said something that I wanted to go over, but I kind of forgot, and it's way up there in the chat. I'm posted up. I know you don't see my position right now, but I am long from my entry right here at 1353. Considering I don't have much, like literally a couple of percentage points, if I happen to catch this fill, where I'm posted up at 1382, my average will drastically go up, okay? So it's just been this one trade for me here today, and like, what do we do? Considering I had double the amount of size in this one position that I had combined here, I need to stop parceling so heavy just in case for that break. We can start taking some out at the break of 74. Okay, because it's one or two things. It's either going to fail the pre-market high break, or it's going to breach, and then if you're fortunate enough to be in the position, you can find some form of continuation after that. All right, Adara.
Yeah, I want you guys to take a look here at oil, or just be aware of oil. President Trump now on CBS apparently, or at least reportedly telling CBS more details about the Iran situation. He said the U.S. and Iran will be meeting this weekend. He said that the removal of the removal of uranium from Iran will not involve ground troops, and the uranium will be brought to the U.S. A lot of these things we already knew, but we're getting more, I guess, context on them, and again, being reported by CBS. If I get more details, I'll let you know. He's been pretty quiet on Truth Social over the last couple hours, but to be fair, he did post 13 times in a 3-hour period, so it is what it is. Back to you.
Posts.
It's so many posts.
13 times.
That's unnecessary.
I don't know if you got something to say. You got something to say. Whatever is happening now, it's really causing. Like, USO is trying to break out here. Does seem like it wants to go. It's not a crazy. It's not yet crazy movement or volume, but you're at 230, right? So this is, you get oil futures markets closing, and then you get a spike.
If we're talking about
tend not to want to like just the move at 230. I want it to settle a little bit after 230 before assuming we're in a breakout, because sometimes when you get to the close, it can be a bit of a psych out. But if we confirm this to the upside, I'm not sure the long is right. Other longs are right is the way I should say it. Like if this confirms to the upside and starts filling in this gap, then really it should just be looking for shorts. You know what's crazy? Intel is now red. Who knew? I'm surprised by this one, but here now, and the morning low was like 68.35. You got a consolidation under the low, so it's already weak. If the market does a turn, this would be a trend worth going into. Like I said, I'm not going to overreact on USO just yet. I'll hold on to IBIT, but I went into IBIT bouncing VWAP, like it holds the low, get in, it's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Like we've been sideways for the last few minutes, so you can't really force the action. Maybe there are some small cappers that are moving like this with AGA. I keep wanting to call this algae, even though there's no L, but I guess it is what it is. I don't even know what algae, AGAE. Allied Gaming and Entertainment. Okay. Sounds somewhat interesting. It's a penny stock. It's kind of moving, but not even that much. What else we got going? Someone said, oh no, SoFi. No, why did you bring SoFi to my attention? We're having a good day. Market's up,
Tesla,
the account's up, and SoFi is giving up pretty much everything from the morning. Seriously, SoFi? It broke 20 this morning, looked like it was really gonna be on the go, and yuck, and more.
Failed.
That sucks.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, Darius.
Sucks, SoFi.
Yeah, SoFi hasn't, that's the thing, right? Like, someone was talking about, like, hey, Joe. Oh, it was Glaze. Glaze in the chat's like, hey, Joe, man, I'm in these Palantir contracts where we got that pop, we got a nice little move, but we continuously reject this one level. Like, what do I do here? Like, we can't seem to breach 148. What I'm seeing from a daily, and I could be totally wrong in this aspect, and we have to be willing to do so, but if you're positioned relatively well, and something that's going to be expiring next Friday, there's absolutely nothing wrong with locking in some profits. If you have multiple contracts, why would you not? Especially leading into your expiration cycle. Like, the closer you get, you're gonna see more potential damage and reduction of your unrealized gains as you get closer to the date where they're going to be no longer existent. So leave a little bit of a runner just in case you have that strong move, but if not, lock in some profits so you're happy, right, at the end of the day. Extracting money from the market is one of the hardest skills to do, and any opportunity that you get to, I think you have to. And then with that being said, is you just want to write a game plan and stick to the system, and sure enough, that'll allow you to do that where it becomes a little bit more consistent. You're going to make mistakes along the way. I've made plenty of them, but what I've learned over time is definitely in the options world is that if you see profits, Neil, you have to write or have a game plan established in order to extract them, because the metrics, i.e. the Greeks, are major factors that you have to worry about that you don't necessarily have in actuals equity, right?
And that's the thing.
It's like, hey, with equity, it's like you can be a bag holder until the end of time. Right, like I've been holding.
It's not a good idea, but you can't.
It's not a good idea, but you have the ability to do so. Aurora Cannabis, my position, negative $10,000 for 5 years, even more, probably 8 years now. I've been in that position since 2017.
When was the cannabis?
It was like 17.
Oh, is
right?
that long?
Negative. Like complete tax write-off. So almost a decade, I've been 99.9% down in this. Once that option expires, that money is gone.
Done. Yeah,
it's gone, yeah. Right? And there's like, you can write it off as a loss, but that's it. It's done. It's see you later. You know what I mean? There's zero hope of ever getting that specific money back.
No, that's so true. That's so very true. I mean, that being said, come on, you held it all the way?
Dude, I didn't know what I was doing. Some people were saying Diamond Hands Joe, but this is 2017. I actually didn't start taking trading and educating myself until 5 years later, 2022.
I thought it was bad, because I know I had like a couple plays. One of them was literally, I'm not even making this up. I was going for like a weekend, it wasn't a road trip, because a buddy and I wanted to visit one of our high school friends out in Dallas. So we just were like, okay, we're just gonna fly out on Friday, come back on Sunday. And while we're at the airport, he talked me into buying this. I don't even remember the cannabis company. I don't even know it. Dude. And so I buy this one, it triples up. I'm like, yeah, baby. I ended up, by the time I sold, I had lost like between 10 to 20%. I thought I was a fool for that, and that was even silly, because I should have locked in profit. I didn't even know I was just like, yeah, whatever. Put some money into it. I just thought it's not a big deal. So but I'm not normally like that. Yeah, I'm usually the opposite. I'm the guy who takes them out at 20%, takes them out at 50, 75.
I didn't know that though, dude.
That's usually what I do.
I knew nothing about the financial markets back in 16 and 17. I was sitting on some cash, and my buddy who I lived with in Liberty Village, the exact same building that I moved to like 10 years later, he's like, yeah, man, Joe, like you can't just have that money sitting stagnant. He's like, hey, my cousin purchased some of these stocks, and I told this story multiple times. All I literally did, Neil, this is how much I knew. I typed in top marijuana companies in Canada on Google. It gave me a list of Canopy Growth Corp, Afria, and Aurora Cannabis. I'm like, cool. Bang, opened up an account, bought every single one of them. Canopy Growth Corp goes absolutely parabolic. It was the one that I happened to put in the most amount of money. Sure enough, me still being young and dumb, I'm like, oh, all right, cool. BMW, nice, we'll buy that one. I didn't know what to do with that money. BMW, bang, no problem, we'll lock that in. Oh, new condo, bang, no problem, we'll lock that in. But then later, like, as things are not working out as they did, I'm like, oh man, so this is really what it is. And then sure enough is when I started in 22 is when I actually started, 21 I should say, 2021 is when I really started to educate myself.
That's what, you know what, you gotta appreciate
like everybody
for sharing that story.
Yeah.
Because realistically, it's so much better to learn from others' experiences because most people learn the hard way. Like, whatever, man. Like, the first stock I invested in that wasn't a mutual fund, I was a penny stock trader. So I bought something that people were talking about on the trading floor and had been traded, and it's like, whatever, I knew it was moving. I bought it for like 47 cents. I watched it go to like $1.23 or some nonsense. I'm like, yeah, this is what's up. I've seen these things break through the dollar before. I'm gonna be good to go.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
They had like a press release coming out the next day or something. And after the press release came out, boom, it was right back down. I'm like, oh, that's what they mean by sell the news.
Yeah, dude, I knew absolutely nothing. Like, I was in Aurora Cannabis it was like $3 or something Canopy Growth Corp at like $3. And I said to my grandma, like, hey, yeah, I'm doing this. And she's like, don't put all your money in. And after that, I was mad that I didn't put my full amount of money in because of how much it appreciated. But then sure enough, look what happened. So in a sense, even though the gains were absolutely insane and I had no idea about managing this stuff.
Right.
I was like, okay, this was fun. We had a little bit about it, but then you have the inverse. So I think everybody has those stories, especially in the earlier days when you're less informed. But Sia, what do you have?
Sorry, that threw me off. We're going to take a look at some numbers. We didn't have any important numbers come out today, but keep an eye out for some important economic releases coming out next week. Let's take a look at a couple headlines. So today's biggest news, as we do know it, was the Strait of Hormuz being open to shipping during the ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon. The USO stock did tank today after this announcement. Again, next one that I have for you is Cerebras. We'll be filing for an IPO today. So Cerebras is a company that provides cloud-based access to chips that can run AI models. Now, Cerebras has previously announced plans to file for an IPO in 2024, but it had redacted this because the paperwork was not valid and they had to add more information, which seems like it's coming together now. And the company is valued at $8.1 billion. This is as of last year in September. And OpenAI is planning over $20 billion in spending on Cerebras products, and it supplies OpenAI, like I said, with cloud-based computing power to operate a specific coding tool. Now, couple things coming in. U.S. and Iran are meeting this week, according to CBS. But again, I have sources saying from Wall Street Journal that the U.S. will be speaking with Iran in Pakistan on Monday once again. Repeating that the Wall Street Journal reporting that the U.S. will be speaking with Iran in Pakistan once again on Monday.
Thank you very much, C. Appreciate it. And I love those stories because it's important for everyone to sort of learn. And that's why we try to share our experiences with everybody. But you know what? Because C was just talking about OpenAI, I realized that we didn't even do this for poll, which seems like a low-hanging fruit. If the market's not going to move this much this afternoon, then I want to know which IPO would you? I'll just say would you buy? I don't want to make it too long-winded, and we'll go with obviously SpaceX because SpaceX. Whoops! I can't even type. And then we'll go OpenAI. I want to put a third one in. What else is big this week? Anthropic might be this year. Is there anything else that we're expecting this year or we just leave it at these three?
Yeah, I think.
I feel like I heard something about Discord, potentially.
Oh, yeah, Discord.
Yeah,
Discord.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's
Discord.
a good one. Okay, so we'll go SpaceX. So everyone in the chat, if you're not in the chat, hit the subscribe button because it's a subs-only chat. So get in there right now, and then I want to know which IPO would you buy. You can only pick one. Type 1 for SpaceX, type 2 for OpenAI, type 3 for Anthropic, type 4 for Discord, and I'll start the voting so you guys can get locked and loaded. I'm genuinely curious this time. Like, I feel like my gut's telling me it'll be SpaceX, but I don't know here because I feel like so right now we have Anthropic in a very close second place right here. Discord and OpenAI near the bottom. Maybe I'm not surprised by the OpenAI thing there. You know what? I just realized that I didn't get my vote in, so I'm going to throw mine in there as well. I'm going to vote for Anthropic myself, and we'll. Once we get into Power Hour, we'll stop it and then let you guys know how it went. I heard just IonQ apparently just moving. But yeah, it's something happening here in IonQ. Wow. Possibly, all right, let's see. First thing I want to do is maybe look at some of the other names. Is Rigetti moving on this? Or is it just IonQ? No, it looks like IonQ seemingly going by itself. And by the way, purposefully, we did not put in none of the above. I get it. In the rational world, you're allowed to pick none of the above. In our polls, we're trying to figure out what people are most interested in, just for fun. So just pick one. Make a decision. Sometimes you got to do that. So I'm not really seeing any news specifically, but something is going on in this particular quantum name. It is flying. It's programmed by.
Is it actually?
Well, I don't know. It's moving. You can always tell when it's distinctly different price action in IonQ. The longer this goes without me seeing a story, the more I think reversion. If I don't see something happening in the quantum space and this extends all the way to like yesterday's highs, I'm gonna think reversion. And if there's no story, it solidifies that for me. So obviously, it's a technical breakout too, I get it. Yeah, you have a trend break here, but come on. If it's only a trend break and it goes into what was a pretty hefty top, there's still a reversion trade. Like even look at the daily chart. Daily chart goes right into a chop zone, turned around yesterday. Now you're going parabolic into the same level on a trend break. There's sometimes these all-day trend breaks. If you can find one, right, like all day, just slow grind, because you have accumulation going on for like the greater part of a day and a half at the same price with lots of accumulation going into a bit of a trend break if you happen to be watching it. But I find this also good for the other side of the trade if you can. I'm going to get rid of, I wanted to have AMC on one of my charts, but I got to get rid of it now. I can't even. I did, though. I sat down. I'm like, I usually have 4 charts that I'm watching, and AMC, I just typed AMD. That's how muscle memory works. And AMC was one of them. I just replaced that with IonQ. It's just literally stopped moving. Up 18%. Congratulations. Been a successful squeeze. It's up. How much are we up from the lows? 80-something% from the, no, it's almost a double up from the bottom. No, it is a double up. It is a double up from the low. This is actually a double up from the lows on AMC.
Yeah, that's good. That's insane. I mean, when the market rallies,
I don't know why.
Are we gonna say like, I think that's a good example of a rising tide lifts all ships, even if you're AMC. GME, have we looked at that one from a daily, Neil? Let's pull it up and see what we have going on.
It's been a minute since I've looked.
Yeah,
we looked at it a couple. Remember we were comparing it to ETH a few weeks ago? That's the last time we looked at it.
I mean, 21% there. Listen, I'll tell you guys straight, as I typically do. Do I love these meme-styled plays like GME?
Yes.
You do. I don't. I personally don't.
Well, as a day trader or as an investor?
Yeah, but see, the thing is, though, I think there's an overlap between them. As a day trader, you like them, but then you have the individuals who are holding on to hope that GME and AMC are going to recover and go back to their levels. Like, look what happened to the hedge funds, right? They're never going to allow that to happen again. Like, there's zero chance. You think they're going to get caught in a short squeeze again, like we experienced in GME?
Well, okay, so in the way that it happened, probably not.
Exactly.
But look, I'll take a little bit of the other side of that. Somebody's getting messed up right here, right now.
Someone's getting hurt real bad.
Somebody's already this is not a GME situation. I'm not saying it is. It's not this, like, Avis isn't Volkswagen. It's not GME. It's not DWAC. It's not insert whatever. But some hedgies not getting their bonus this month. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting run over day after day and thinking that they can continue to fight this, and they're just getting moked. So, yeah, like, there's certainly situations where this is happening. It happened in Carvana. After GameStop was done, it legitimately happened in Carvana, and a lot of people ignored it. It happened 2 years ago in American Eagle on a strong run. Did it end up well? Did it sustain? Maybe
but
not.
I think
it does happen.
Carvana was a little bit different of a story because it wasn't anything like Car here or like GME. Like, Carvana was like a nice, because in 2023, this thing was on the brink of like a couple of dollars, and then and over the couple of years, it just decided to climb. Yeah, just decided to climb, and it's like, what is going on here with this name? I just think that is what we're seeing in Car is more of a short squeeze than what we experienced in CVNA.
Is it though?
That's 3 months, dude. Come on.
I know. I'm cheating. So I'm using a 3 months.
Yeah, come on, man. Yeah, we're sending it over.
I can make anything look parabolic on.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we got a super chat. Let's see it. Birdman. I can't do. Oh, you can do the bird call. There you go. I couldn't. This morning, someone was like, "Do the bird call," and I'm like, "I can't."
Can you do the loon call?
No, I can't.
I mean,
you can do a loon call too.
You used to be able to. I'm not gonna try now. It's been a long time.
What do you mean you're not gonna try? You can't tell everybody that you're gonna do a loon. The loon
I gotta
call.
be outside, man. I think that's an outside activity.
You can do whatever you want. It doesn't like. I mean, it's not a big deal.
Anyways, I'm a man of etiquette.
You can do it inside. I think it's fine. Brought to you by AXTI, the super chat. 6,800 in 1 year, 85% in 1 month, 28% this week. AXT Izzle. If you have that much, you get the Izzle. See? Squeezes happen. I'm just saying.
Okay, this guy's still on the monthly chart. Let's see what it looks like from a daily.
It doesn't matter.
It
it's going to look fantastic on the daily chart too. Okay, fine. Maybe it's not as great of a squeeze.
Exactly.
But okay, fair enough. But the point being, it might not happen the way that it did in GameStop.
Yeah.
But for those types of traders out there, and it does mean there's opportunities. It's just that if you're looking for parabolic moves, and you start to get into something that has a high short float and it's starting to go, it just might not sustain the way that Avis is. Like what is an over 40 short float and is not doing anything? Like HIMS. There you go. Like HIMS has a huge short float too. And even when it would start going, it just couldn't break out. And every time it would start going, it couldn't break out. It just couldn't break out. Now, had it busted through this top, somebody might have got blown out, but it just didn't happen. And the short sellers eventually just won the day on this one. But there will be moments. You just have to pick your spots, understand you've got to take profit. You can't just hope and dream. And if you happen into something like an Avis, know that when it really starts to go, if you happen to be in this for some reason, when it starts to go, you get a chance to hold because it is a squeeze play. It's just way more rare. Let's go to the desk to get an update.
Keep an eye here in the U.S. dollar. This is popping up here. This is the 15-minute chart. I'll switch to a 3-minute. As you can see, acceleration here of the DXY after we get comments from Fed Governor Waller, who's saying, quote, I'm not worried about the dollar losing reserve status. It's still trusted by others. So Chris Waller praising the U.S. dollar. Again, oh, that actually rhymed. Fed's Waller, some positive USD comments here as the DXY pushing into that prior resistance level of 98.15. Back to you.
Good stuff. So, guys, I caught that fill for the potential dip buy here on Tesla. We added a little bit more. You can see my average price drastically increased just because we were sitting on a fraction of a percent. We've just been riding this one all day. Now we're just playing a little bit here, having some fun with the potential trade. You get to add. I missed this train here at 1382s. That would have been more ideal. But at the end of the day, we're happy that we got this buy right at the volume weighted average price. Where else to grab something than right there? Mark.
Polo.
It's a good game. It's a great pool game as well too.
By the way, I actually don't like the long anymore. I'm getting out.
IBIT?
Yeah, I don't know. It was not moving too long. I actually accidentally reverse short. So I went to punch out, but I also had a stop there. So I ended up short. And I just bid out. So you'll see I got in and out at the same price.
Okay.
With Mark, not Marco.
Yeah, I know. I corrected myself there.
But you made me say Polo.
I know. Well, I didn't make you say anything.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, you did.
See, the thing is, though, we get sidetracked here. If we're talking about pool games here, we're talking about Marco Polo. The best pool game there is pool basketball. There's no more, there's the most amount of fouls. It's you and the boys just hanging on each other. So shout out to the actual pool game.
100% agree.
All right, focus.
Just started watching your channel a week ago.
You got this?
Oh, no, you got it.
All right, man. Let's hop in. Just started watching your channel a week ago, and I've already learned so much. Thank you for being such great teachers and guides. No problem, man. I think I'll speak for myself. It's best to, you think you know everything until you make your own mistakes, but when people tell you trust me, learn from our mistakes, it helps you a lot, and you pay a lot less tuition to the market.
Truth. By the way, IonQ is giving it back. Why didn't it just go a little bit further? Anyways, let's go to the desk.
Yeah, IWM in the green, up 2% right now. Let's take a look. Seeing a lot of green and a lot of red here. Energy minerals, as we know it, is in the red, but finance, quite a lot of sectors performing great today. We're going to take a look at a couple individual tickers for the day. BMI. I have news on BMI. Badger Meter, so this is manufacturers and markets, the flow measurements, quality control, and communication solutions overwide. That's kind of the company this is. It's down a whopping 23% today because of a 9% year-over-year decline in its earnings that came out recently, and a flat 2026 outlook despite a pipeline project coming in. And we have Prax. Earlier, Sharif was talking about this on the show. Prax is down again. Sorry. Yes, Prax is up almost 8%. Then we have AeroVironment that is down 7.5%. Then we are talking about COMP. This company has entered a multi-party transaction with the intention of taking a 51% stake in Sotheby's Realty franchisee, and the company is up almost 10% on the day. And Comp, just to give you information, is a tech-driven real estate brokerage. Sending it back to you.
Thank you, as always, Sia. And actually, we're close to Power Hour. very close to power hour. We're only like a minute away. Just a reminder to everybody, SNDK, it's going into the NASDAQ 100 effective Monday, so that means tonight there could be a decent size imbalance. Let me just see what we're expecting. Double checks notes. I see 3.2 million shares there. It's not that much. It's a good notional amount, but yeah, about 3.2 million shares to buy. It's a $900 stock. That actually is a pretty decent amount. But remember, this is a NASDAQ stock. So when we show you the early look, you only get an early look on New York symbols and Amex. So we will not be seeing, or the NYSE American. You know, you can tell how old a trader is if they say Amex. So I still say Amex. Yeah, so you're not going to see an early look imbalance when it comes to SNDK today. We're not going to know if the expected buy is a buy until 350 hits. And at that moment, expect to see a little bit of volatility. If you have the level 2 of SNDK up, there will be likely people that are long anticipating the buy. So if it comes out anything but a buy, there will be some people immediately hitting the sell key, which is wild. So it could go either way. But we will not, the key thing is we're not going to know until almost, I don't want to say after the fact, but as it's happening. And it's very quick. It's one of these things where the algos are all in control. And thank you for Ja. Yeah, this INQ didn't necessarily reject at a random price. On the daily, it rejected literally at the 200 period moving average on the daily chart. So it did find a turn, not where I was looking, because I was looking at the 15 and looking for it to maybe press a little bit further into this gap, but it didn't. And now you've got the curl in the other direction. Maybe there's like a sympathy. If it's going to pull all the way back, maybe I can catch something that was already weak and turn. Rigetti didn't really move that much. The other one I'm thinking about is QBTS, because D-Wave is usually free locates, and the others you got to pay for. Now that's not moving. Nothing burger there.
All right. Just reading Mike Peter Ryder go on. I don't know where
What's
it's
Mike saying?
Yeah, you know, Mike's doing Mike things. I don't know, man. He's kind of like myself a little bit, just starts talking about random stuff. And anyways, I hope Hawaii was good and treated you well. Who was it in there that I was like, yeah, let's save man, woman, peace. Let's do this thing, right? Like, let's go over some of the bigger participants and let's get into the nitty gritty and see what we have here. I mean, where are we trading at? 270. We have these 270 contracts right at the money. I mean, that's where we're going to see a lot of the size here. So what is this going to tell us? How can we gauge from this specific level leading into the close? All right, what can we do? And I'm just thinking, I'm brainstorming of how we can correlate the imbalances with what we're seeing on the options chain. But we're going to go off to see it right now. We'll get back and talk a little bit about this.
Yeah, let's take a look at the sector here. The market up, SPY up 1% today. Honestly, nothing crazy, but I did see Netflix today dipping 10%. That was an insane thing to watch when I just opened my heat map today. Then energy is in the red after we did see, I did report on this, that the stock USO has been declining, and it did tank right after we got the Hormuz news. Retail is doing really good in the green today. Then we have electric tech, a mix of sentiment here, green and red. Apple up 2.5%, NVDA up 1.8%, Google in tech services up 1%, almost 2%. Oracle and Netflix are the only ones I see major in the red here. Finance, again, there's a mix going on, earnings season. Yeah, that's all. I have nothing crazy to report, but health also, I'm looking at health, sorry, right now. Health doing good. UNH is up 2.27. Producer manufacturing also in the green. So overall, I would say it's not a bad day, but it's also not the best day.
Definitely could be better, but I try not to. We shouldn't complain about not only 1+% in the ES and the NASDAQ, unless something really ridiculous happens in the next 57 minutes. The longest win streak in the NASDAQ will be extended to 13, longest since 2009 will be extended to 13 days, which is the longest since 2009. That's crazy.
Donald Trump's going to be talking about that until...
Oh, for sure. Let's throw the super chat up because I like this idea. I like that too. Corey Ewing. Hey, I grew up watching Dallas. My parents were into it. Can we have a segment with Adara, she's really short. Adara, what are your shorts as we close? I think that's a fantastic idea. So with that, let's put Adara on the spot because she's good like that. And she always seems to rise to the occasion. So I think it'll be fine. So what are your shorts as we close, Adara? No pressure.
Okay, yeah, I mean, no pressure needed. I am in Oracle. I've been in Oracle. Neil, and I have to shout him out again because he knew I was in Oracle before I even said I was in Oracle, just based on the setup. This was dope. I got stopped out here, which is like, this sucks. I stand by putting my stop there, but this was like, what, 178.30s? It happens sometimes. You are the top wick. Sometimes, you know, you're the spoofy man. Other times you get spoofed. And in this case, that happened, and it was fine. I got back in here. This kind of setup, risking to that prior support is completely fine with me. I'm still in. I took out half here because I didn't like that retake of the 9 EMA. As of right now, chilling with the rest of this. We're going to wait and see what happens. I am in other shorts. Oh, one of them actually just doing nice things right now. So I'll zoom in here on Netflix. I did take some shorts that did not work on this earlier. Roughly flat on this one. Lost a bit here. But we got back in on the VWAP reject. And let's see if we get below. Oh, my mic fell. I was so excited. Okay. My bad, guys. Let's see what happens here at 96. 60s, if we can break below that, that'd be dope. I am sized decently in this. And last but not least, the short that I guarantee will probably stop me out. I had some good trades here in ALB earlier. This short worked, this short didn't, this short worked, this short didn't. This is the last time I'm allowed to short this, according to my rules. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. I liked this as a downtrend break. If I draw the line, it might be cleaner. Bloop. Sloop, sloop, sloop. Okay, so actually it looked more like a break on my chart. Now this actually looks like we're holding. It did break the 15-minute low. This could kind of go either way, but I do kind of like in a spready ticker sometimes, if you have your stop, it gets to your stop and it rejects a couple times. Now obviously it could be a blowout top, but I think this could go either way, so I'm gonna stay in this. I am red today. Fortunately, I had some really rough slippage on stuff like MDB and ASML, but you know what? We're gonna be here to learn every single day. And yeah, if you guys ever wanna hear my trades, you can just ask. I'm always willing to share, and I'm always gonna be honest with you about how stuff's hanging. I am green on ORCL and ALB, and Netflix, I don't know yet. And my mic dropped again. Oh, thank you. Okay, I was confused. I thought my mic dropped.
Assassino was like, and drop the mic. You don't want to. You don't want to drop these things. I remember.
Shout out Assassino.
He literally, that was the ultimate fake.
Yes.
He faked everyone out here. I literally thought you dropped the mic too.
Mic drop.
Did you hear that, Sia?
You know, honestly, like Fabian said, how much these are worth.
Yeah.
Go Assassino.
They're cash money. No, seriously, these are expensive. They're expensive.
That was crazy.
It doesn't look like much. I mean, I don't think it looks like much.
Bands.
Each one of these is 2 bands. I don't know why you said it that way, then made me say it that way, Fabian. It's $2,000. That's a 2 bands. What are we? A drug dealer? Like, what's going on here? No, but seriously, like, audio equipment is expensive. You don't want to actually, dropping mics is ridiculous. You can do like the regular mic you could drop. That's actually a key that we should have so that you don't drop a mic and I could just press a button and instead of like bang, it could be like some kind of a mic drop. But you know what? I don't think we're going to be able to use USO as any kind of a catalyst in the power hour. It is so dead in this stock. I was having a look-see at NVIDIA. I was having a look at NVIDIA. One of the last things that worked. It's really not moving. So like what I like is when you see like this happen, and then there's a break of the trend, and then okay, short that little pop in there. So I'm looking for like the reaction trade where I can find something like break the trend, hammer down under VWAP, and then go, or maybe break the uptrend and then get like some kind of a like break the uptrend, do a follow trade, like something. I'm just looking for something to actually happen that I can react to. But if there's nothing there, there's nothing there. And it might just not be, it could just be a bunch of like wick action that gets you in and then trails you out, and then you're just wasting your time in the afternoon. But I now have eyeballs on NVIDIA. It just doesn't seem like it wants to do much of anything at this moment. Let's go back to Adara at the desk.
Yeah, some news here, guys. mRNA did get a spike a couple minutes ago. Moderna reporting an 83% response rate in their phase 1 out of 2 melanoma trial of their mRNA 4359 combo. So mRNA with some trial results. Also, guys, keep an eye on USO because guess what? We're getting more comments here from Iran's foreign ministry. They're saying that the 60% enriched uranium will not be transported out of the nation in any way. So we know President Trump said Iran's going to give us the uranium, and they're going to agree to no nuclear enrichment, and they're going to be able to basically not get any money back. We know Iran was very unlikely to agree to at least some of these points. Looks like they're already saying, yeah, you're not getting our uranium, guys. Back to you.
All right, I want to go on for a couple more moments here on our imbalance here spiel and correlating this with options. All right, so we were just talking about Apple. You can see we have the 0 DTE. We were talking about the size at that level. Let's go over to our next culprit, NVDA. As soon as this loads up, where is that zone? 200. We're trading around 284. So we're right at the money on some of these larger open interest spots here on the options chain. So with that being said, is what can we make of this? How can we find potential trades? And I think the narrative here is I could be totally wrong, but at the end of the day, when you have the open interest standpoint, you have to look at it as there's a party that's on the opposite side of the trade. So if you're short these calls, you have an individual long and vice versa. Now, we want these to essentially to expire worthless if you're an options writer. They're not going to be worth anything in the span of an hour and less than an hour and 50 minutes to the long side. You'll make a little bit, but nothing substantial. So with that being said, with NVDA continuing doing not too much today, not participating in the rally, and the same thing with Apple not doing too much, I would not be surprised if the probability leans in the favor of closing below those strike prices that have the most amount of open interest. Now, could I be wrong? Absolutely. There's always that chance. But I think we need to take a look at the imbalances and the notional value of these things, and then actually how they react on the early imbalance and at the rebalancing as well, too, to see if we can actually close below those levels, or how we're going to factor in some of this open interest into our intraday trading via the imbalances. But Neil, talk to us.
Sure, because when you're talking options like that, you're talking about volatility. And if you're talking about volatility, you know it creates movement. And if you're a sophisticated trader, then that movement creates even better trading chances. And Beta Pro by Globex offers Canada's first and longest running suite of leveraged and inverse ETFs built for sophisticated traders who understand risks of leverage and the importance of precision. It's triple leveraged bull and 3 expiry ETFs tied to the NASDAQ 100 index are designed for daily tactical trades, providing amplified daily exposure and giving traders tools to engage with both upward momentum and market pullbacks. These strategies are currency hedge, seeking to offset USD exposure back to the Canadian loonie. For those navigating short-term market moves up or down, Beta Pro offers the flexibility to act with conviction, whatever that looks like for your individual strategy, objectives, and risk profile. Trade tactically and learn more at betapro.ca. You can scan the QR code you see out in front of you. I was actually just answering, Lorenzen asked a question, Lorenzo in the chat about ServiceNow and if they beat, and would that mean that software names could go to the upside if there's a beat in ServiceNow? What I would say is the worse beaten up you are going into earnings, I would think the better chance that positive earnings giving like the sector a bounce or it a bounce in general. We just saw what happened with 2 major earnings. One of them was ASML. Apologies. Every time I pull up ASML, I always gravitate towards Amsterdam because that's where they're primarily listed. Doesn't really matter, but you get the point. That pull back after their earnings. We all know what happened to Netflix, which did have a double beat. The guidance wasn't that good. It had gone crazy into earnings, and now they pull back. But I think it can be a different, at least a potentially different story when you have something which has not been upward trending, but has been more downward trending. Because you can't make the argument that you're priced to, well, you can say you're priced to perfection to the downside, I suppose. But there's not as much pressure when you've been beaten up and you've been like falling all over yourself. But first things first, you actually would have to beat in the first place. So you need to have step one, you need that to happen. Step two, I think there would be a little bit less pressure. Until proven otherwise in this earnings season, it feels like you got to blow them away. For anybody, ASML had a great quarter. You can't. I don't know that you can say the same for Netflix because they had a one-off $2.8 billion line item which bumped them, and then they had poor guidance. So he had like maybe 2 strikes against the print. So maybe that one's not fair. But I don't think there's much that you could have pointed to with ASML, and yet they pulled back. But it is a reminder on the stronger stocks that have ridiculously good earnings, like Micron did. If they pull back, it can be a great buying opportunity. Like Micron pulled back 30% after an absolute blowout that all anybody could tell you was how ridiculous those earnings were. Now I know the market did the same thing, but the confluence there was, well, when the market was bottoming, you also got to buy something which was off of a great report. And sometimes you're just looking for that reason. You could make the argument that, okay, there were better things to have bought. Probably, I'm sure you could point to something.
What is that?
It looks like a pear. Yeah, it's like a little pear.
This is new.
It was like a little pear. Like that was what was in my salad.
Man.
I had like little pieces of pear in the salad. You just dropped that, didn't you? But they were tasty.
I don't know if this is pear.
Can't waste. 5-second rule, bro.
It's done.
What? No 5-second rule? It's like that. Apparently, it's just like that. We got DJ the Menace with a super chat as well. So let's throw, Andre, you can throw that one up for us. It's Friday. We can answer some questions. I'm literally not seeing anything. If the market doesn't want to move, I'm not going to force anything. Joe.
Yes, sir.
This one's for you. Can you check out the open interest on Microsoft 445 calls, looking at May 1st, trying to see if I'm on to something?
Yeah.
We'll check it out for you, DJ. Rather Joe will, because they don't call him Joey Options for nothing.
They don't call me Joey Options for nada. Garbage out of here. All right, man, let's pull things up. I think first things first, let's pull up the actual chart of Microsoft and see how we've been doing. We like this. And actually, let's move this over to the side and get some 445 calls. Can you check out the open interest, trying to see if I'm on to something 445 by the beginning of next month. I'll always say buy a little bit more time. Let's mark out that level of 445. Yeah, I mean, I don't even have to pull up the chain to see if you're onto something right now. I think you are. You're starting to see a little bit of a pullback, but we do have a trend line breach. I think that's key, right? So we were talking about this. This was all fun and games, and then sure enough, double the amount of time, you're just moving to the downside. This could be a key pivot level there. We'll use this. You're getting a retest of the back end of the trend. You might fall into 410, so don't go all in at once. I'll always say give yourself a little bit more time. On the thesis. Is it going to be there by the beginning of next month? No, but understand what you're trying to achieve with the strategy, right? There's 2 things that you can gain, intrinsic and extrinsic value, and both of them. That's really important. Understand what you're trying to obtain. Now, let's head over to our options chain and get to exactly what you're referring to. Where are we? May 1st, bang. We'll pull up your Microsoft 445 calls and see what we have going on there. Oops. Patience. Joe MSFT. And see what we have all the way up here at 445. Do we have any size? I mean, it's not horrible, right? But I think, oh, that's not even the same expiration cycle. What the hell? Come on, there we go. We can do it. Let's head over to 445 to see if there's even anything right now. Yeah, you might be onto something that's quite a bit, relatively speaking. It's 10 times the amount of what you're seeing that next level of 440, not even close, like 5% of what we're seeing here. So you might be onto something. Let's go over to the 27th to see a little bit more detail within this one. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised considering the path that we're on. How much are they worth? They're pretty expensive right now. 44% at the money IV. You might see an increase on that one. We're going into a heavy dive here because you asked really nicely. But at the end of the day, you might be onto something. Just be cautious and be prepared to know what strategy you're implementing. Are you trying to gain time value in those contracts, or are you trying to gain intrinsic value in those contracts, or both? There's a very big difference in which you are trying to look for and how you're trying to become profitable on that strategy than opposed to just having something in the money. If you're looking to gain time value, completely different story. You don't necessarily need it to run into that level, but you can see it slowly start to climb into that area. So I think that's one thing that took me a long time to understand, Neil, is within options trading, what am I trying to obtain? Like, what is the objective here? And understanding how time value is implemented into the contracts and then also the moneyness and the intrinsic value of the contracts is extremely important.
There you go. Don't apologize for a deep dive, man. It's all about a deep dive. It was just, look, markets bouncing on VWAP and NVIDIA went for a jaunt. I was going to play on trend in BM&R, but it looks like it went the other way. Although I punched in, it was like, I'm chasing that. I don't have the entry here. Immediately take off half. Immediately, because that's a chase.
No, I said
so therefore,
time is extra.
So if the risk is, if I'm risking more, then I should have as much, and I immediately made that decision there, and I can add to it if it comes back down. Let's go to C at the desk, and I believe it's going to be, what segment? Happening now? Oh, Money Talks.
That's okay, Neil. You tried. It's okay. So let's take a look at couple of discussions for today. So U.S. dollar is under pressure as investors are reassessing certain geopolitical risk. I have the chart right in front of me. Markets are questioning the dollar's long-held, I would say, safe haven and borrowing status advantages. Geopolitical and policy uncertainty is keeping this particular currency under eye. Let's also take a look at the Indian rupee here. As we know it, the rupee has faced a record low pressure due to the rising energy costs, capital outflows, and a broader war-driven risk sentiment. Now, just to give you, I would say, a picture of what's going on here, India has turned to Iran after a 7-year hiatus of not buying their oil. And as we know, India is the world's third largest oil importer and second largest consumer of LPG. So I would say this has contributed to the stance of the INR right now. And we do have the advisor at Teneo. He was told CNBC, his name is Arpit Chaturvedi. He's a South Asia advisor at Teneo, saying that it's a confidence-building mechanism with Tehran, just that they're buying oil from there. Also, we have Singapore. So SGD. Singapore USD features here is tightening policy amid the energy-driven inflation risk. Now, Singapore's central bank has slightly tightened monetary policy after the energy shock lifted inflation expectations and has strengthened the Singapore dollar's policy. And that's all I have for you at Money Talks. We'll see you at crypto later.
Thank you for that update, Sia. And I just found something I like even as a trend. Like if a couple of things are breaking trend, this is actually maybe even better as a trend break than BM&R, but I'm already in BM&R, and right now, this is not an all-day trend, but it is effectively an all-afternoon trend break on Intel. I saw this in chat that like it as well. You're trying to confirm the trend break here, just hold the line, ideally over 68. If it holds 68, I'm going long. If it can't, then this is probably some like ridiculous chase. There's a second. Is that a new super chat from Microsoft? Oh, it's another one. Okay, so we have another one here from DJ. DJ the Menace. Microsoft earnings are on the 29th, so possible catalyst for the 445 calls. I mean, yeah, that makes some sense to me.
Yeah, it can, for sure, man. I mean, if you're listening to what I said, just understand what you're trying to achieve with the strategy. You could be onto something. There's a lot of open interest there. Right, but just be careful because we use the NVDA example as well, just in the fact that like when you have that outstanding size, it's hard for it to be absorbed leading into the earnings report past it, right? Like you have that volatility spike, and I'm going to use NVDA as the example of that. Like we've seen it on a couple occasions where there's hundreds of thousands of open contracts, relatively speaking, that it just bounces off of those levels and then just proceeds to tank. Could you run relatively close into it? I think so, but now you're looking at something from the 29th. How many days are there in April? 30, right? So, I mean, we're talking about May. It's just, it's not enough time, essentially, considering the next day if they don't work out and you give up a bunch of the value. So, yeah, it's your call at the end of the day. I think you are onto something, but just understand what you're trying to achieve with that specific strategy.
Great advice. Bart in the chat's like, You'll add to Intel if I got it. You should never do something because someone else does it. But the note on this, it is breaking trend, but it doesn't seem to want to hold above the 68. Every time it ticks in, this is like what we were seeing with Palantir before. You watch the tape and it gets to the even dollar. And look at what happened over here for a good 30 minutes. Look at all that failing above 68 where it couldn't even get 10 pennies above. So I'd love to see some confirmation of buyers in this range, and then I'd rather jump in. So I don't want to rush, but you are running out of time. So I'm in the BMNR one. I would like to add Intel if we could, but I did see a really good question that someone added me, and it was way back. It was from Hypercube. I didn't even realize this was the case. You get lost in the sauce. I felt like this morning was pretty good for trading. And then you said you should do a deep dive on risk management and the importance of a shutdown. Some guys in the chat were really hurting this morning, losing savings on shorts. The thing about risk management is that you need internal discipline is such a large portion of now you're going to get a buyer above 68, of course, where we're talking about something else. I'm going to nibble in here, see if I can get some fours. Maybe I'll get to fill. It'll fill. There we go. So the thing about internal discipline is, you know what? Let me start from the other side of it. As a trader on a prop floor, you get to have external discipline, meaning use a daily loss limit. And your daily loss limit is based on your performance. So every single day you're trading someone else's money, which is what we do, and we have a risk control implicit. Now you still have to control your own decision making and not blowing past your shutdown. You get too many, let's say you take a big position and it's not that liquid, you can get too much slippage, and then whatever, if your shutdown's $1,000, you could lose 1,200, something like that. Like those kind of things can happen. But it's still important to have some level of risk management, but it's far more important for a retail trader on a completely different level. Because half of the equation, which is deciding how much it's okay to lose, you have to make that hard decision, and the only person that can enforce it is you. So it's easy for me to say, I want to risk 10% of my shutdown on an Intel trade, I'm long here, stop there, and then I can size accordingly. I'm on a prop desk. I have that set number. You guys don't.
Yeah.
And so you really do have to come up with, and it's so important every single day if you're a day trader, if you're a swing trader, maybe it's per trade, maybe you trade like 5 times a month and X amount per month, but you do have to make that determination, and nobody can tell you what that number is. It has to do with how much money do you need, right? Like what can you afford to lose? What's your account size? There's so much that goes into that you really have to determine for yourself. And it's easier for a prop trader. I'm not going to tell you that's not true. It's definitely easier for me because we have daily loss limits here.
Yeah.
So it all starts from that, and then you can go backwards and then decide 20% on this trade, 30% on this trade. Here's my in, here's my out. But it has to start with a number that you're comfortable losing, because you don't want it to be everything, right? So when you determine if my account size is 100 grand, I don't want to lose more than 10 on any given trade or something like that if you're a swing trader. And then you give yourself a line in the sand. Hopefully that helps. But let's go to. Oh, sorry. I know we're going to Adair. Maybe come back with that question.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, let's do it.
I just want to let you guys know, President Trump just posted about Apple, and it's a pretty huge caveat here. So I saw this headline, President Trump praising Apple's U.S. manufacturing. I went through his Truth Social. Worth noting, he's posted at least, I'm going to estimate 5 to 10 posts in the last 5 minutes. He's very, very, very active right now. Posted something about GM and Ford and their investments in the U.S. as well. But either way, AAPL not reacting too much, but President Trump posting these old news links again, this time to a March 26 article praising a previously announced investment between Apple and the U.S. So again, just be careful when you see him post these links and mention these companies on Truth Social. A lot of times, these posts are going to be old. Just wanted to provide a little bit of an update, let you guys know I have seen this. I have looked into the article. It is, what now, like half a month old? Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. I see what was going on there. That was Ramin.
Yeah.
Well, let's read it anyways. Hey, Joe. First, what? Oh, it was Fabian. First-time chatter, long-time watcher. Is AMC put 50 cents January 15th, 2027 a good or bad idea?
Where are we at right now?
$1.80?
I think the value of the contract, I mean,
$1.90.
Oh, 50-cent put. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's not bad. Why not? How much is that going to cost you, Fabian? We can figure that out.
How much does it cost?
Yeah, we're going to figure that out right now. Good thing we have an options chain, Neil. We can figure out exactly. Yeah. All right, Fabian, we're going to have some fun with it.
AMC Bulls are going to hate you for this one.
AMC, yeah. People aren't going to like Fabian for this one. If it's like $500, I would say absolutely not. You're saying January 15, 2027 is what he said, right?
Yeah, it was.
And the 50-cent put? Oh, man. Why not? It's literally. It's like $7.
Don't give him ideas.
It's $7. That's the most he can lose. Why would you not do that? If it doubles, yeah, it's literally $7. I didn't hear what you said. I didn't hear you, Fabian. Okay, no, you're looking at the bid. That's why.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a spread.
So you're gonna buy on that. It's like a $4 spread, but you're looking at the bid. You would want to see it on the ask, and it's 7 cents.
Which is important to remember. You got to buy from the ask.
You got to buy exactly and sell. What's that? Is that Fabian? Oh, okay, you're good. Yeah, man, dude, why not, man? It's $7. Like, I don't know. It's a good opportunity. I figured All right. JKL Toddler Premium Hunter. I hope everyone has a great weekend. This macro news cycle is lining up with the technicals. Here swinging short cues into next week. Yeah, you were saying that. Yeah, I don't know, man. That might be a tough call, but I wish you all the best, obviously. There's multiple ways where you can make cash in this market.
Well, with these headlines, the market at the highs, I understand the reasoning behind it. The other thing, too, is like when you think about it, everyone's probably had a pretty good rally in their long-term accounts, if we're being real.
Yeah, I know.
So it's not the craziest notion. I don't know. I'm not a swing short kind of person. What I am a little bit, first of all, like, come on. This is what all day trend breaks. While I like them, it's the kind of thing that like it pays some bills, but you really want it to go. Like I have a couple of been trending all afternoon and then break the trend and then they're just not moving right now. It goes for both of these. But there's nothing on the early look. It's 3:30 and we have one stock over 1 million shares on the early look imbalance. One.
Kenvue is always on the imbalance.
Kenvue is meaningless. You always see that. And then IonQ is 780K. Whoops, no, that's from the, 780K. CCL, that's from the morning. There's pretty much nothing here. Very light on the imbalance locator. For Friday, end of the week, I kind of thought we'd see a little bit more action there on the imbalances, but I'd say pretty disappointing there. Bovin says bulls at the high of the day. No way. Get out of here. Weebles at the high. Yes, it is. What is dead may never die. That's all you got to say right there. And if you know, you know, and if you don't, fair enough. Some people didn't like the end of that show. Yeah, Weeble. I like a lot of things better than Weeble, but it's made that hold of the 50-period moving average. So I'll give it that. Every time Blue Ocean. So we trade like if you're at Real Trading, you have every single market available. But when you pull up a stock, you have to put the code in, and alphabetically, Blue Ocean always seems to come out on top. So if you see me pull up Blue Ocean first, it's like a habit. I keep putting in requests. It would be cool if the primary market should come first in the drop down, but it is what it is. So Intel, all-day trend break, literally one of my favorite setups, but it's not going. So, if it loses this bid, there's a lot of room. Like there's at least $1 change for it to maybe bounce, but it's not going. And if it hasn't moved at all by like 340, closer to 350, I'd probably just trim some flat. But if it breaks the prior bar, I'm going to be out. Got to keep it as simple as possible and see what happens next. What did somebody just? Someone say AMC, but nothing's happening over there, so that's kind of a nothing burger. Let us know what you guys are watching, or if you see something that's actually moving. And I just reminded myself when I looked up, it's like 3:30, so I'm going to end the poll. I'm actually surprised here. We asked you guys which IPO would you buy, and overwhelmingly it was SpaceX, but Anthropic came pretty close.
I think rightfully so.
37% for Anthropic, 44.5% for SpaceX, only 8% OpenAI, and 10% for just under 10% for Discord there. So I'm not surprised SpaceX, but I voted for Anthropic, but not surprised that it was second, maybe more than I thought, and a few more for OpenAI. OpenAI's got. And Sam Altman haven't had the best press, so I can't say that's too much of a shocker. Some weird stuff out of that guy recently.
I think the hype train on OpenAI is definitely cooling off.
Well, I just even in general on the AI, but I think specifically on OpenAI recently that's been true. No questions asked. I think you can really.
Yeah, I'm with Arun, man. Anthropic all day. Claude, 100. Joe AMC over 2. Gamma kicks in. Okay, is that what you, Britt? Is that what you DM'd me? Like, I'm gonna be honest, man. I can't even get into my ex DMs. It's asking me for a pin that I don't have, and nor am I going through the process of getting it. Like, I don't have. The only social media platform I have on my phone is Snapchat, and that's the only one I'm gonna have.
Do you use Snapchat?
Yeah, man, it's like my OG. I don't even have Instagram, dude. I've never had Instagram. Bruh. Yeah.
No, I don't know many people.
Yeah. I feel like Sia has something to say back there.
What?
Sia,
wow, Sia's got something to say.
Yeah.
Sia, don't even front. Just speak your mind.
How did you even notice
Speak your mind.
Well, yeah.
Speak your mind, Sia.
Yeah, good peripheral vision, man.
I'm curious. Why Snapchat?
It was just like I've had the same one since essentially, your double screen, since I was like 16, 17.
You've had Snapchat since you were 16?
Yeah, like whenever it came out, I was like, we got that, it was the new thing. Maybe it was after Vine a little bit later, but I just never had Instagram. So it was like my one social media platform aside from Facebook, which I deleted in like 2016, so like a decade ago.
Facebook anymore, you're right.
Yeah, so that was the only one. I was like, I didn't need Instagram. I was too cool for school at that time. And that's all.
Hadera has something to say about this.
I'm sure, man. A lot of people.
You sure about the age on that, Joe?
No, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. It was like sometime. I don't know when Snapchat came out.
Because I just did some mental maths.
Yeah.
On that is what I'll say.
I've had it. It's definitely what?
Hadera.
I reached out. I left the conversation.
I'm just.
Oh, I'm back. Okay.
You can tell me when it came. I'm not sure when the account was made.
No,
like, I can take it.
I'm saying Snapchat wasn't released till 2011.
Yeah,
and
so
I
that's
know
when
what
I
year
got
you
it.
said you were born in.
Okay, so
you were not 16 when you got Snapchat.
No, I wasn't. That's fine. I was 19.
I'm sorry. My brain
I'm sorry. I was 19.
My brain has like little mental
God.
breakdowns when facts are not like facts, and Anyway.
I was 19. My bad.
Okay.
Like, my bad. I was off by 3 years.
It's Friday, guys. Everyone's just ready to go.
It doesn't even matter about which day of the week it is. Like, you were talking about I was 19. That's over a day. That's 15 years ago. Like, come on, man. I'm not as accurate as you are,
You were
Adara.
19, 15 years ago, Joe?
Pardon?
You were 19, 15 years ago?
Yeah, see ya.
You look good.
Crazy.
See, you look psychic for a second.
Yeah. It was.
I found that very entertaining.
See ya. Yeah, I mean.
I don't know if you guys found that. I found that very entertaining.
I'm sorry. Guys, no hate towards Joe.
Yeah, it was. All right, yeah, I trust you. But yeah, man, I graduated high school in 2010. Excuse me. In 2010.
I'm good.
So yeah, after that.
Look, man, usually people.
What's that? Yeah, exactly. Well, I came out after, so good thing I didn't have Snapchat in high school.
But realistically, Joe, as you're seeing the love of the chat, no one even believes you're that old. No, seriously, that's a huge call. What are you laughing? I wish people would think that I'm younger than I am.
You should.
I would defend both of them. Everyone, honestly, on here looks younger than what they really are. I'm not even kidding. I
had the viewers one time were guessing my age, and half of the viewers thought I was over 50. And I remember, and it was a few years ago.
Yeah?
I'm just like, come on.
But how old do you think I still can pass for like late 20s maybe?
When Sharif told me he was around like the age he is, I don't know if he's disclosed it here, I was shocked.
Now Ramin's in our ear.
What hair? I don't have any. Ramin told me to dye my hair.
Dye hair? Okay, first of all, two things. One, this is not moving, and I'm not even focused on this stuff. This is silly. It's not going, I'm getting out. And Ramin is in my ear saying, Neil, just dye your hair. Yeah, but how you want me to accomplish that, Ramin? What, like this little nonsense here? You want me to dye this?
Yeah, no, man.
That's what we're talking about, Ramin? I'm never dyeing my hair. If I go gray, I go gray. If I go bald, I'm shaving it. I love the bald head. I was gonna shave, but Joe didn't tell me we were doing bald head brotherhood, or I would have shaved last night.
I didn't tell him.
Straight up. Anyways, what were we saying?
Yeah.
Thank you. There's been a lot of chatter of people guessing ages, but I'll choose to only highlight this one. So, Giomi, thank you very much for that. We'll just leave it with this. I'll leave it with that. Sure, I've been trading I've been a trader since 2003, and then you guys can make your own judgments. Maybe I started trading at a really, really young age. It's entirely possible. Entirely possible. But that is true. In 2003, I did start. Although, wait a minute. No, Dara already outed when I was born. Yeah, it's true. You kind of did say that. That's fine. I'm pretty sure it's been said multiple times in the chat anyways. Yeah, exactly. It's been said multiple times, so it's probably not a secret. Dara, what is FRMM and why is it moving?
I will look into it right now, live here for y'all. FRMM, this company is Forum Markets, it's $4.07. It did have news this morning, definitely a pre-scheduled press release came out at 8:30 a.m. Forum board reinitiating a share repurchase program, so their buy program is back. Let's get a sense of the float for FRMM live for you all. Forum Markets, you've got a $104 million market cap, float of 9.11 million shares. It's a very ominous float. And guys, 35.5% short float, massive short float, sub 10 million share float. They got a buyback program, FRMM. Back to you.
See, like the best thing about Adara is like she could get thrown on the spot when I was like randomly changing the subject from how old we are to like, hey, here's a moving stock, everybody, with 10 minutes till imbalances come out, and then she's like all over it just like that, which is it's an amazing talent. But this one is starting to come back in. What I would say about From. See, hedgies can get burned. This is one of the times that whenever you find like something new to market or a reverse split, either one of those things, and when it breaks out past that price, you can see some serious explosion. So that's 360, right? So we file away 360. Look at what happened when it broke 360. This is like one of those quick little lesson. So comes to market, there's a top at 360. What is the stock? The stock's going up. It's trending up the whole day. And then what happens when it breaks 360? Explosion of volume. Explosion. Why? Because there are funds, or whatever, hedge funds, whale trade, whatever they do, that see this and they're like, I'm shorting this, it's trash. Shorting more, and then when you have the explosion, you gotta cover some. And then you get some buyers that come into it as well. So I'm not saying that these are always gonna be fantastic longs, but sometimes there's a real good technical reason why the volume starts going ham. It was already running, but it went ham when people started getting punked there. All right, 9 minutes still imbalances. Still nothing happening on the imbalances. You got to be kidding me. Absolute nothing burger. We're going to go to Sia for a crypto update and maybe figure out what's going on with Meta.
Nothing too crazy, but I do have little news on Bitcoin today. So Bitcoin did rise past the $76,000 mark. That was aiming at a major breakout after oil plunged after the Iran and Strait of Hormuz cool down announcement. Currently, BTC is around the 77,281 region. That's all, sending it back.
Massive spike here in META pushing sharply to the upside. They are reportedly planning here additional firm-wide cuts later in 2026. I've seen like so many reports that Meta's cutting jobs, so this in and of itself is not shocking, but I do have more details for you. Again, just a report. Apparently they're going to be flooding the first wave of these layoffs on May 20th, so a month from Monday. That will apparently affect roughly 10% of their workforce. Then they're going to be cutting more jobs. So first round of cuts, May 20th, that'll be 10% of the workforce. More job cuts later. That's what I'm seeing here for META. I will post that on X at TTV Research. You guys can get a better read there. Back to you.
There you go, for sure. And love Meta. Get through 700. This is big for Meta. Well, maybe not necessarily the cuts. I mean, closing above the 200 period is what I'm getting at here. This is big for Meta, closing above that 200 period moving average. Get it going. It's sometimes what happens is everyone talks about how bad something is, and you got to just try to, if you like it, you like it. I wish I had bought again. I didn't.
Yeah.
I bought the other dip here. I bought the bounce off this last dip, and then just didn't do anything and bought other stuff. But that was also a good buy on Meta. It looks like we are going to close at 200 period, barring something crazy. I think we should. Tell me that is not. No way. Unbelievable. Avis is destroying somebody right now. And Ari Pages just said, where is it? Ari Pages said it was good to hear. I'm glad that whale traders can also get cut up and blown out. It makes us feel less critical. Exactly. You hear stories all the time, but what I can tell you is I've heard stories of huge institutional traders getting blown out on stuff like this. It's nothing I could say directly because some of it's said in confidence, so I couldn't give exact details. But trust me when I tell you, when this is happening, someone is getting their face ripped off, and it's not some small retail trader. I'm talking specifically about Avis now. It's not just that it was probably a really good short that someone was hammering into. There's always a Nick Leeson out there somewhere that thinks they're just going to be able to average down on this, in this case, sell higher and be able to hold on. It was already a huge short float. It's getting people blown out. It's not fundamental what's happening on Avis. There's no way you can make that argument. And it's pretty gentle. This would be a gentle move. We're calling this a gentle move today, 425 to 495. But absolutely there are whales that get blown out. This can't happen with just some day traders and small and retail traders.
Yeah, no.
That happens because you've got some hedge funds and some bigger institutions or somebody that got smoked. Kilgore, the Volkswagen short, the short squeeze, that's a good historical one to look up, and maybe it's fun to read up on. It wasn't really like a GameStop thing. There was some fundamental things that got broken with that one that caused a lot of the move. So really, it ended up being a little bit concentrated that time because there was a lot of fundamentals there. But with 5 minutes to go to the imbalances, Meta hopefully can hold on to some of those gains. I do see it already pulling back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, hopefully we'll see.
That's what I was just about to ask. Is we've been looking at these you get these pops and then we look to fade them. Is this a name that you would?
No.
I don't. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking the exact same thing.
So yeah, I turned to Joe and I just sort of said, in an afternoon where everything's quiet, something maybe when you see these pops on an INQ, there was something else that had a random one, then you would fade. And then he was like, well, would you do something like that on a Meta? And my answer is no. Because I think it's too quality. It's been beaten up. There's money that's trying to come into it. The NASDAQ was bouncing off of VWAP as well, so you had the market sentiment. Then you have the potential of an imbalance is a little bit more likely on a bigger name to randomly throw you off hilt. There's just so much more going on. Mm-hmm. It would be more on a random stock if it went on no news. And there's also news going as well. So again, 3 minutes till the imbalances come in here. What else we got going? SNDK appears to be running. Remember, SNDK being added to the NASDAQ 100 effective as of Monday, meaning the close tonight. So we could see decent size imbalance on SNDK. We're expecting a few million shares. I think it's just over 3. It's one of the ones I'll be watching, but we won't know until it ticks 350. When 350 hits, we'll know one way or the other whether there's something doing here on SanDisk.
Exactly.
Hopefully, I'm sure there's some people that I'm not a big fan of the whole loading into it, anticipating it's going to be a buy and just sort of hoping. That can get pretty nasty, and I don't think this is big enough one. When it was Tesla, when Tesla was getting added to the S&P 500, that was so different. It was such a monster upweight. It was the biggest upweight in history. You had. That
would have been sick.
I mean, literally everybody. One time we were out and we were talking to some big shot NYC guys, and even those dudes were like, "Oh, the Tesla." Even they're getting everybody was excited about it. It was on a level that just was different. That's how it could start falling. Because what happened was when it started going down before the imbalances came out, there was just too many people into this thing. 30 minutes before, it it was like 315.
That's crazy.
And people were getting a little bit nervous. And by the time 350 or 345 hit, 350 hit, nothing mattered. But there were a lot of people that were getting rinsed on the way down.
Did it just skyrocket after?
Oh, it was when the imbalance came out, the algo buying was crazy. Crazy.
That is crazy.
But this is not going to, SanDisk is not going to be remotely like that. Trust me. I would suspect the next time you'll see something that crazy, like right away at a specific moment, is very likely to be the IPO for SpaceX. Like the first few minutes of SpaceX IPO will likely be that crazy. We're going to go to Adair and then we got a super chat.
Yeah, I'll be quick, guys. It's interesting. This headline actually looks like it came out around 3:30 p.m. I'm only seeing it circulate on social media now, though I will say some people in the chat, I think were mentioning this earlier. Blue Owl Capital reportedly having its founders revise the terms of their personal loans that raised some scrutiny. Doug Ostrover and Mark Lipschultz no longer borrowing against their shares in the fund manager. So some borrowing issues here with OWL, as reported by WSJ. This name's been hit pretty hard in that private credit space with 2 minutes left until the imbalances and the rebalance. I'm going to send you back over to Joe and Neil.
Holy smokes. Yeah. Okay. I had a couple of things, but all of that is irrelevant compared to what Davis Sirs just said right now. $5 super chat. And I had to pull this up. The options chain on car is broken. Does anyone actually purchase on this volatility? Dude, I'm looking at this, so I don't even know. I haven't been paying attention to this stock. This is insane. The amount of money that you can collect via premium right now is absolutely, I've never seen anything like this this is a lot of cash if you're an options writer. And you have $1,000 spreads. That's crazy.
What?
$1,000 spreads. I've never actually seen that ever in my life. 560, if you go to the 0DT, 529% implied volatility. Like the chances of it climbing up to, there is no bid here. Okay, I mean, that's a little bit different of a story, but you go 2 weeks out and you're looking at $1,000 spreads. That is insane. Holy smokes. And then but it's so hard. There's zero liquidity on these. You collect 40.
Whoa.
What's that?
SanDisk, okay, 1.8 million to buy for SNDK. You have a few other ones, Team, RE, SHLS. But there goes SanDisk. So it did come out a buy. It's absolutely flying. A little bit of a pair already. Like it just came back to 925, because you are expecting, oftentimes that does get paired off. There's a reason why they put it out there publicly for everybody, is it's likely to go down. You know what I just realized? I'm gonna get an imbalance located with just SNDK up, so it'll be easier for me to track it. But initial pop to the upside, already starting to give it back. That's the issue with the punch in if you get it after the algos have already gotten in at that open. But we'll see what happens. 355 is always is likely a major pairing event. I was reminded not to talk in absolutes. You shouldn't. It's usually a major pairing event, so you want to see it hold that buy and balance after 55. So yeah, SanDisk comes out the expected direction, but about half the amount of shares that was supposed to be over 3 million. It's about 1.5.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, well, let's head back. You know, how the imbalances there. Let's talk a little bit more about car, because
that's nuts.
I've never seen anything like that before. On 2 weeks out, that's crazy. That's like literally crazy talk, man. So saying we're 500, even if you go to like $50 higher, we were looking at the 560s. Like that is an insane amount. I wouldn't grab it on the way up, to be honest with you. Oh, let's do something even more fun, Neil. This is gonna be insane. All right, this is gonna be absolutely crazy. What is going on here? That's the 1 minute. That's why.
That's insane.
Oh, it won't even show us that. I would like to go further out to see the appreciation in some of these contracts over time, but it's not even going to give us those. Let's head over here. Maybe we can find a different chart that will give us a little bit more detail. We'll pull this one up, go to a higher time frame and see what we got going on. We'll get the rebalances for you guys momentarily. All right, there's not much detail in these. I wonder why. It's because of the liquidity, man. There's like literally 79 shares here. Our contracts open, 127, 9 over here. There's not very much liquidity. Be cautious with this one because there's only really one option, no pun intended, that is that you allow it to expire worthless. Right there, I like that one. Thank you. But yeah, that's some crazy stuff. I've never seen $1,000 spread. That is some insane stuff. Oh.
This trade has unlimited upside.
Look at the head of hair back then too, man. That's crazy. It's crazy.
I think you better bald, bro.
Thanks. I appreciate it, man.
Seriously. I'm just saying, it's a clean look, brother.
It's clean, man. Yeah, it does look pretty clean.
Ain't nobody dope as me. I'm just so fresh, clean, like we like it. So just an update. I know I said this is what everyone was paying attention to because of the addition, but there were other names in the imbalance locator here. Ari, 3.4, Plug, 3.2 million to the buy side, Netflix, 1.8 million to the buy side, iBit, 1.6 million buy, Warner Brothers, 1.6 million to the buy side, FSLY, 1.2 sell, SanDisk it's actually shrinking a little bit here, so it's down to 1.2. They are pairing that one off. Open door still a thing. 1.1 million. SanDisk still falling, so now 1.1 million. It's going higher, even though the imbalance is starting to head lower. We're going to go to Adara one last time. We have 1 minute and pairing event potentially here on SanDisk.
Yeah, that SanDisk pop off the inbound was crazy to watch, but we have to talk as well about TEAM actually heading into intraday lows. Now, I mentioned Atlassian because they're actually the company that SanDisk will be replacing in the NASDAQ. So SanDisk goes in, TEAM goes out. As such, this one was actually looks like a little bit of a sell here into the close. So just remember, as we have one name entering, we do have another one leaving, another opportunity here. Back to you.
And it'd be easy to say, like, why don't you just sit in the trade and hope? The thing about this, if you're sitting in this trade, when it broke, you weren't getting 918, like the local break. It was instantly pretty much at 22. That's how good the algos were. So you were already getting it at 22, which does mean if it had broken down and was the wrong direction, and you thought maybe your stop could be at 12, you might have gotten filled at like 8s. Like your slippage might have been double your anticipated loss. That's kind of the other side of it. So I don't mind, like, you try to get this little tight breakout, and if you get filled, great. You're in early. But here comes 55. See how they already sold it off, like $8 going into 355. Like that as quick as you like, as we say, and now down to 130,000 the imbalance is now on SNDK. I just had it up on a individual because you're not gonna be able to see it. Now you've got, it's no longer there anymore. NVIDIA is a buy of 1 million shares, but SNDK, I have it up on another one just so I could tell you. Very likely it was gonna pair off. Now it's 140,000. That's the reason why we talk about that 9 or the 355 and what can happen in that moment, everybody. Crazy. Easy peasy, that's right. There you go, SNDK, longs from the bottom or whatever it was. Thank you for the super chat, easy peasy, and the 0.2% like you always do. You certainly keep to your word there. So, you know what, I'm with Dragos. It wasn't Dragos, it was a couple of people in the chat and saying this stock should split. Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe they're waiting for
what would spready ticker traders do if you guys take all our stocks and make them all split?
There's always other ones, Adara. I'm just saying, like, usually, you get to $1,000, like, maybe you could at least consider splitting. That makes some sense to me. But look, a stock split doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it does make it cheaper for, by the way, NVIDIA at the high of the day. Hello, NVIDIA. NVIDIA is going to close almost breaking the February high. Almost breaking the 2026 highs here on NVIDIA, which is amazing. No, but it just makes it cheaper for options, right? Which is better for retail, which is better for traders. It's better. I think it's better for everybody. Like, what's the point of having a stock be $1,000? Like, I don't get it, right? Like, anyways, thank you, Rowan. We got another super chat in here. Started watching, listening while at work. You guys got me caught in Oracle. My fault, but have helped me to a 48-10 record. Going 5,200 to 14.8 since April 7th with options. Thank you for the super chat, but thank you for tuning in. You know what you can always do? Pay it forward by growing our community. That's the best way. Trading is hard enough when you're doing it by yourself or sitting at home by yourself. Oh, I'm wearing the same. I always find it awkward when you put the graphic up and I'm wearing the same shirt as when we filmed it. Don't you? No, but like pay for a girl in the community. I got thrown by that. Doesn't it feel weird?
What's that?
The likes of. I'm wearing the exact same shirt.
Oh, you are. Damn.
But you can tell the recency of all of mine based on whether I've got the gray or not.
Okay.
All of the first stuff that we did, I didn't have any of the gray hair.
How old were you when you started balding?
Here's the thing. This is not absolute truth.
Fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button.
100% truth. I found out that I was starting to bald on the show because there was that one camera shot that was over our heads, and I swear it's true, Adara, and we were just doing the show, and then they put the shot on, and I saw myself, and I was like, oh, I'm starting to go bald. I had no idea. Straight up, I had no clue.
Crazy.
And then then I started calling it the bald cam.
I'm telling you, the first year, it was like year 2 is when at rapid pace, my hair just started to fall out and turn gray. Year 2 of trading. It was not life. It was trading, man.
Nope. Mine was after. I know for sure. I didn't start. It definitely started after my daughter was born.
Yeah.
I slept less.
Yeah, that's fair.
I slept less. I know I didn't eat as well for those first 2 years. Just, that catches up with you, I guess, eventually. Plus, too, if you looked at my family history.
Yeah, my dad.
I knew what was gonna happen eventually. I had no qualms about where I was headed. You just look at some uncles and all that stuff.
Bald?
What's that?
Is your pops bald?
Well, he shaves it off now, but he kept it better. It's on my mom's side where I look at my uncles, I know what's up. I knew what was up.
Yeah, same. My uncles,
I had no
my dad,
qualms where things were headed.
All right, I'm going to get all out of this Tesla trade. I mean, we've been riding it all day. Jake Weston was asking us, hey, Joe, why didn't I take profit?
Phrasing.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. Trust me, it's okay. It was tough, but it's okay. Everything will be okay at the end. Here it is. Nice move up. We get stopped out 2 for 3 all the way up here. We were taking profits. I just was free rolling up this one for a little bit of a continuation. We'll get all of this doing it live right now as there's literally only a couple of seconds left. You've seen the average. We're out of the trade now. No positions. We're flat. It's been a good Friday. And I'll let Neil close it off with the bell.
Ringing the bell right now, metaphorically, as it's 3, 2, and 1, everybody. I think we actually did have a last-second super chat that we missed, and I want to make sure we get it. Andre, do you have it? I don't have that screen up. I think we missed this. So we're not going to miss it. We're not going to miss and forget a super chat and tell you. Market may be closed. What is your take on short-term move on Owl? Oh, Blue Owl. What can be behind an upward move into the closing?
Oh, Dijon.
I didn't see Blue Owl on the locator, but this moved before that. So it moved well before that. I didn't see or hear a story. Maybe there was something that happened here.
I actually did mention one.
Right okay, I missed it. That's my bad.
So basically, it seems like there was some kind of maybe shadiness with borrowing against shares happening by the co-founders. Apparently, they've said they're not going to do that anymore. That was also just a report.
Okay. So there you go. Now, in terms of short term, everybody knows the pressure that they've been under. Usually when we're talking about the lending markets where there's smoke, there's fire, and there hasn't been too much more contagion, but I tend to not trust it for a while. Right? We saw it with the regionals. So I don't know if I trust this yet. There's so much more strength in the market. There's a lot of things that are making bottoming patterns that I feel less risky about structurally because there's a lot of unknowns that go right now into the private credit market. That's all. So I don't know. To each their own. But what I will say is this. Oh, we didn't rate the lunch?
Oh.
Okay, so yeah, we didn't rate the lunch.
Okay. But today was tough though because we had different things.
You had salmon, I had tilapia.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give the tilapia, usually I give it a really bad score, but I'm gonna give it a solid 6.9. Okay. Well, the vegetables were great as usual. Yeah. I'll give it the tilapia was okay. I'm not a huge fan of the seasoning.
6.9 you gave it.
Yeah, 6 point.
That's good. That's good. Assassino, how about you? What do you think about? You got salmon or tilapia? You tofu. Okay,
tofu?
Really good. Give us the rating.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
What was it out of 10? Assassino.
Let me think.
I didn't hear
Seven.
Seven.
7.
Assassino says 7.
All right,
How was
we'll
the
take the
salmon?
7.
What are you going to give?
Salmon, we're going to give, I always like the salmon. We'll give the salmon because it's Friday. It's been a good one. We'll give it a 7-1.
7.1 for the
7.1
salmon.
on
Joe
the
with the
salmon.
higher one. Adara, do you care to give one rating?
Yeah, so I struggled with the weird mashed potato bed, truthfully, and the flavors mixing, and it wasn't really palatable for me. So I ended up going to Aroma, and I had a very delicious salad that I haven't actually eaten most of yet. But yeah, no, honestly, and I'm not trying to hate on the food. For me, the taste, it was just not a vibe. What I will say is it was food. And that's not
It was food.
Well, make sure you finish your salad. You're always too busy.
I'm going to finish my salad after work. Yeah, don't worry.
No,
Adara works too hard.
I must say that salmon and mashed potatoes, I didn't know if that is, like, I didn't know you mixed that from this way. Yeah, right? I don't think that's like what complements the palate, right? You know what I mean?
I mean,
it's more or less
mashed potatoes, you know when you have like fish and fungi, right?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Oh, come on. Anyways, okay, never mind. He's West Indian. I thought maybe, you know what? Maybe it's not a Jamaican thing.
Yeah.
Antiguans have fungi. It doesn't really make a difference. Anyways, I want to give a big shout out to Joe because let's be real.
I'll be
Joe,
back next week, man.
All day. Sean's on vacation. He's on the
what a
beach
guy.
somewhere, probably having a pina colada or whatever he does. Whatever. I don't know what he's drinking. He could have a beer. It doesn't really matter. But he's enjoying it all day long. Midday, morning show, aftermarket. We did Netflix earnings after the bell. So I want to give a big shout out to Joe. Of course, Sia and Adara at the desk. Fabian, Ramin, and Andre, for Sharif, for myself, for Brennan, for everybody here. Thank you guys for the super chats. Thanks for participating. Thanks for making us enjoy the show so much. We'll see you guys Monday morning.
Yes, sir.
At 8 o'clock. Have a good weekend.
See y'all. Thanks everyone in the chat. Much love. Go.